All right guys, so today we're going to show you how to properly fit up and easily make this 2-inch socket weld 90 weld in the tripod. Get this guy fit up on here and show you guys how to build this spool. So first thing here, I'm going to do a little prepping. I already have my pipe prepped now, so now we got to go ahead and prep this 90. We're just going to hit this with tiger ball, shine it up a little bit, and make sure we clean this nice crowned edge here. Now that all our pieces are clean, we're gonna go ahead and get our 2 hole pins in this flange so we can level this guy, so we can go ahead and level up this. One little tip whenever you're doing this is if you're looking at your drawings and you know which way this piece is gonna be orientated, there's some numbers and everything on this flange here. It's telling you what it is. It's a 150-pound raised face slip-on flange right here. So these numbers tell them what poundage this flange is. You want to point that to where you're going to be able to see that if you're walking underneath it or over top of it or beside it or whatever. You want to make sure, if you can, put these where you can see them. Just make it easier for installation and walking down the line whenever the job's done. Go ahead and get these 2 hole pins in here. These little guys here, they're actually custom made. We had a millwright where we were working, machinist. He built these guys for me off the lathe. So they're built out of aluminum, so they're nice and light. And a little bit smaller, so I don't have to pack around those big metal ones. We're gonna go ahead and level this flange up. So the trick to this, whenever you're using this pipe vise, is you wanna leave this bubble just a little bit out. You usually wanna ride the line or so. So whenever you put this chain over here and you tighten down on this, it's gonna roll this pipe and this fit over towards the handle here. So if I leave it a little bit out and cock a little bit, whenever I tighten this down, it's gonna roll that thing and get it just right for me. So that guy's leveled. Go ahead and check this here for level. If you need, you can make some adjustments down here on this leg, but we're sitting on pretty flat ground, so it doesn't really matter. We're good to go. Next step, we're going to go ahead and put a level on here. Like we did on the last time, you want to make sure you get your gap in there. We're going to push this thing all the way up. Put a line on here, a little reference line. You want to make sure you have that 1/8 inch gap in there, because if they come and x-ray this thing, they call it shooting for gap. If you don't have that gap in there all the way around, they're actually going to bust that weld on you. It's going to come back on you as a bad x-ray just because of the gap. Get this guy level. Make sure we have our 1/8 of an inch right here, a little bit over, so we'll go ahead and suck it in a little bit. So like I said, whenever we're putting this tack in, we're going to go ahead and put about a 1/4 of an inch or so. We'll tack as I'm going this way. When I pull off, I'm going to pull my heat back around over it. So what it does is going to rock my level back over to where it needs to be. All right. So it didn't quite pull back the level. All I really need to do is just heat this up, come back across this one more time to the direction that this bubble needs to go, and it'll go ahead and pull on over for me. All right, it's perfectly level now. There's a couple ways you can do this. You can put your level on here and level this guy, or you can pull your old trusty squares out and we can re-square this puppy. All right, so we're a little bit out of square. This 90 needs to go ahead and tip up a little bit more. You can beat it around, or the next best thing, stick another piece of pipe in there you have laying around, pull it over, give you a little bit more leverage, make it a little easier. All right, there it is. That's what we need. Go ahead and put tack on the bottom. All right, so tack on top and bottom, level, square this way. Next thing we need to do is we need to square this 90 up this way. This can be kind of tricky sometimes. Sometimes it's just an eyeball, because not all of these socket weld fittings are gonna be nice and flat here. They might have a little bit of taper on them, so you kind of just gotta eyeball them and make sure it's even. What we're gonna do is, I'm just gonna maybe pick this guy up here so you can see it. So we'll take this square right here, we're gonna run it right up that straight edge. See how it's touching up there? Flip it around the other side. See how it's big there? That tells us we need to beat that thing around a little bit. So that's looking pretty good. You always wanna make sure you check both sides. Don't just go off of one side. All right, that's pretty good. This one's out just a little bit. I'm just gonna go ahead and tack this side first. All right, we got all 4 tacks in this 90. So what we're gonna do next, we're gonna weld this guy all the way out. We could go ahead and weld it in position like this, but what I've found is when you're working on these shorter spool pieces, when you're welding, you usually end up running into this tripod. So what I'm gonna do is, pull my two hole pins off here first. I'm gonna flip this guy up and I'm gonna make a horizontal weld. Always seemed to be a lot faster to me and a lot easier to make that weld. Get it locked on there. How we're gonna do this is, I'm gonna take this extra scrap piece we have here, set it inside here. Set that 90 on the clamp here, the table. Lock this guy down. Now, we get to make this horizontal weld instead of having to fight around this tripod all the time. Ground back on. So, this first pass, I'm gonna go ahead and quarter it. That way I have some meat in there to hold us. So on the second one, I can just go all the way around this guy one time without stopping. That's why I like doing these horizontal welds, because if you position yourself right on this, you can make it all the way around without stopping. You gain a lot of speed and efficiency. All right, first pass is on there. We're gonna put our second one on here. One little tip whenever you're doing that is, if you look right in here, you can kind of see where this edge is kind of rolled and crowned a little bit, is whenever you're putting that second pass on there, you wanna make sure you cover that first sharp edge and land on that roll, because if you don't, this socket weld is going to look all choppy and undercut all the way around that bottom side. So if you catch that roll right there, it'll end up looking nice and smooth. So get all the way around this guy. I'm going to stand on this side of the tripod and I'm going to reach over here as far as I can, over top this pipe integrator, and I'm going to just walk my way all the way around this weld. So I can get all the way around it one time without stopping. All right, that stopped there, grab another wire. Miscalculated how much wire I needed, so didn't quite make it all the way around without stopping, but had enough wire I could have. So, and that there is how I like to do my socket welds in a jack stand. All right, thanks for watching and stay tuned for the next one.